Welcome back. I haven't made an update video in a while, so I really just wanted to do that. Yeah. So I was driving around today working, and I really just want to share how happy I am. I'm very happy that this opportunity is available to me. I have as much opportunity as I want. Of course, there are limitations because everything has limitations, and there are obstacles, and there are things you have to deal with, and other things you have to accept, and really that's about it. This is amazing. I am seriously grateful, and if you have any worries about it, let me know specifically if you want, and maybe I can give you my thoughts, I guess, if you care or if you need. You can definitely do that, no worries. So I just really want to share the reason why this works for me is because I want to do other things with my life, and I'm unsatisfied in other jobs, or in jobs, I should say. Yeah. And the reason why I'm unsatisfied is because I've gotten nothing really from them. And of course, I think, every decision you make in your life will affect you. And if you're younger and you're watching this and you do Uber, part-time, and you live at home, or you don't have to worry about bills, or you don't have a lot really going on, like you have your main 3, 4, 5 things, and that's about it, and everything else is really gravy. Well, that's great. But for me, this is a little different. I have tried all different kinds of work, and I feel like I'm pretty good at it. Some of the work probably not so much, and some work I excel at. So it's just skills and temperament and personality and all that. So there's nothing really wrong with having a job. I may eventually get a job again, but what is keeping me from doing that is I don't want to distract myself from all the accomplishments that I've made. I have been, unemployed since March. So that's March, April, May, June, July. So 5 months now. And I've had ups and I've had downs. I've felt on track, and other times I have felt off track. I felt extremely happy and excited, and I felt really sad and depressed. But I feel like anything you do is going to do that. So I do this full-time, and I haven't actually had a 40-hour week yet. And why? Because, like I said, ups and downs, and I've been working on other things besides just making some money. I think that's really critical, especially coming off of some I don't know, when you have to do some work on yourself, you need to do that. So this has allowed me to do that. This has allowed me to be able to support myself and get things I need and pay bills. And, there's nothing more I can be grateful for. And that's really what I want to share, is because if you have the ability to work on yourself and to determine what you want to do, now is the time. I feel like that's why I'm doing these videos, is because I feel like now this may not turn into anything, but I'm not doing this to turn into anything. I'm doing this because I want to. That's it. If anybody is interested, if anybody wants to know, I am up for it. I'm not going to be distracted by some manager at my job and energy to be expelled. And then I would just come home and I just veg on the couch or chairs watching TV or movies for 4 or 5 hours before I go to bed. Maybe even 6 hours depending on what time I go to bed. And I just didn't want to do that life anymore. And that's really why. My reasons for doing Uber. I still have not done passengers. I don't know, I'm getting nervous and and then I have a lot of other stuff in my car right now because I purchased a couple of extra delivery bags, and then I have my bag with like my ketchups and stuff that I've collected because people ask me for that periodically. So there's that. And I want to end this video with something that happened today. I haven't really worked all week for the same reason, working on myself. And, that takes a lot to do. You have, to work on yourself, focus on what's going on, and also, just fixing. I've had migraines and things like that, so that's part of what I've been working on myself with, is just trying to curb them and prevent them from happening and figuring out triggers and stuff. So that's part of it, and it's really difficult to work when you have a migraine. And sometimes the Excedrin and whatnot wouldn't work, so that's why. So I worked today, and I want to share the story of my first delivery for the day. And this is really, out of 3 months of working, this is the first delivery that I really wanted to cancel. Did I cancel? No. But I really wanted to, because I'm going to tell you this story. And you tell me if you would cancel and at what point you would have canceled. So I drove, so the pickup was, I think, about 11 minutes away. That was the pickup. And I picked up the food, and I got in the car, and it was going to be about a 17-minute delivery. So that's already that's already close to half an hour, okay? Then I drive there, and all I have an apartment number and a floor, And so it said, I don't really want to give out the apartment number, so let's just say that it's 5,000, and it's on the 5th floor. Because, it was on the 5th floor. So I really wanted to be accurate so you kind of get an idea, but yeah. So 5,000. And so there's no other information. There's the name of the apartments. So I go and I go to the apartments. I go to the leasing office. The leasing office people, every time I go through a leasing office, and I just ask, hey, how do I get out of here? They're so freaking nosy. Like, are you security? Like, I don't get it, So they're like, who are you? Where are you going? What apartment number? And all it does for me is it just slows me down. That's why I get annoyed by it, is because it's unnecessary. And sometimes when you go to hotels and stuff, Lord forbid you ask a question to an employee, because they got to know everything. Like, why can't you just answer my question? Do I look like I am a terrorist? Like, I don't get it. So, I'm not there to do damage. Do I look like a person who's just gonna sneak in and break into people's houses? Do I look like I'm literally carrying a drink and a bag of food? Like what could I be doing? I don't know. So the IQ of these people, I could question. Like in my head, I question like what? Anyways, so I'm just gonna say if you live in one of these apartments that has like you need your fob or code to get in, you're gonna get your food a lot faster if you just put it in your app. Just saying, because these leasing people, they got to know everything. Oh, what are you here for? That's annoying. So as you can tell, after driving close to 30 minutes in total, so it's about 30 minutes that after I accepted this, delivery, because the accepting time to get, moving in the direction, and then the time that you go in and you get the food, and then the time that you spend making sure that you pull into the right place. Geez, right? So they finally tell me where to go. I'm on the phone with the customer. I'm like, okay, I'll be right there. And so I go up to the 5th floor. I go to the apartment. Nobody answers. I knock 3 times. I call her again. I don't like calling the customers just because I know the customers like the not calling or the not texting. Like my friends and my family, they say that they don't like it. They just want you to show up at the food. So, so that's what I try to do. So then she's like, well, what is the name of the apartments you're in? And I'm like, I don't really remember whatever you put in the app, And she's like, well, there's 2 apartments. They're next to each other. And they have almost the same name. And I'm like, great. So there's a guy in the hallway, and because I'm on the 5th floor, it's taking me forever. I'm waiting for the elevator, and he's passing by. And I asked him, excuse me, what's the name of these apartments? And he had to look it up because he didn't even know. And then he told me, and then I look in the app, and I'm like, oh, it's the wrong apartments. Well, I told her that when I was at the front door, and she's like, I'm outside, of her front door. And I'm like, well, then I'm in the wrong apartments for sure. So I was like, okay, I'll just cross over the street, especially if they're right next to each other. No biggie deal, So I go down to the bottom. I exit the closest exit. I cross the street to the other one. That's another community where you need a code and a fob. Do I have a code or a fob in my app? Did she tell me over the phone? Did she message it to me knowing that this is what I'm trying to do? No. What am I supposed to do? And on the phone, I even asked her, I was like, is there a code? Is there, something like that? And she never gave it to me. So I go through the garage, and then a car was coming out, so I weaseled my way in. I eventually found a door that was unlocked. I wander into the hallway. I figure out, I walk an L, halfway around, because it was a square. Because usually these apartments, you can go around in a circle. So I go halfway, and I'm like, nope, the apartment's not on this floor. I don't know where it is. So I was going to call her again, but then I was like, well, maybe I have to, I don't know. I'm a pretty smart cookie. So I'm like, well, maybe it's on the other side of the garage. So I find a door finally that allows me to go across the garage. So I'm at the very top. And so I go across, and these numbers are so high. They're almost to 6,000, at the end, right? And I was like, okay, I'm not about to start walking through this whole thing, because this is Dallas, Texas. In the beginning of August. I'm hot. I'm already sweaty. I'm wearing this shirt. It's really thin, but I'm not sweating as much as I usually do, but I'm sweating because it's hot. And so I exit. I go back into the garage. Well, not in the same door. I go out another door because if I went in the door that I went in, there's a wall and you can't get in. like in the garage. So I had to find another door that leads me into the garage, which is basically the top level. There's no like top. And so I found that and I went out, and then I got to the next door and I was like, okay, well maybe this is the other end. No, it's like midway. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe I need to keep going, because like I feel like it's a lot faster just to keep going this way looking than going to the end and then winding around, right? So then I go to the next door and I was like, okay, I'm closer, right? So I go to the end of the hallway and there it is. Yeah. So then she's just like, sorry, maybe I should change the name like in the app. And I'm like thinking, that's not the problem. Okay, so let me explain. The reason why I did not pull into those apartments is because the bottom area, you know how like the bottom area where the office is, it's like for rent. So I didn't think anybody was living on that side yet. And if they were living on that side, then it would like be part of this same complex. So, because they were talking about, is it on this side or that side? And yeah, I was so close to canceling before I was thinking to go through the garage. When I first got up to the first floor and I went halfway around, I was like, it's not here. I literally wanted to cancel. I was like, this is too much. It took about 40 minutes to do that delivery, and I got paid less than $9. So I went to the hub, and then on top of it, the reason why is because there was like a point A and a point B and then a point C, and it was like straight lines, and there's no way I could drive on that straight line. Like, what was I supposed to do? So the hub, the green light hub, they put in a fare adjustment request to accommodate for the rural drive, because I went with and I used the Uber navigation. So anyway, I feel like that is the most frustrating thing that you should expect to experience, is just the complications of having to deliver in locations that are a little harder than just pulling up to a house, And people also don't give out all that information. I'm not sure why. I mean, it just took her much longer to get her food. I don't know how long it took me to figure out as soon as I got to the destination. I don't know how long it took me to locate her, but I would say maybe upwards to 10 minutes. So she could have had her meal and probably ate it in the amount of time that it took me to find her apartment. She did offer to come down. But I was like, no, because I didn't think it was going to be that crazy. So story time. If you like hearing about these experiences or these specific delivery stories, let me know. And I haven't received a tip yet for that delivery, so I doubt it, because it took me so long to deliver it, which I understand, but at the same time, you're wasting my time of making more money. Yeah. So that's just a little frustration, a little complication, and I mean, the maximum that I've really ever experienced doing deliveries. Yes, you get the rude people. Yes, sometimes it's hard to find parking, but those are very minuscule. They're very easy to, work around. You can always find some kind of solution. So don't let these things deter you if you want to drive. Okay.